So, as is always the case being here in Australia, because we do tend to get these updates pretty much in the middle of the night, and so by the time I wake up and am able to make a video on it, it's usually a little bit delayed. But we did just get the official PC trailer for Battlefield 6, and I'm going to be doing a bit of a breakdown for the trailer. There's a bunch of interesting stuff that I have found in this trailer, and there's also some really good news as well in the blog post that accompanies the trailer too, surrounding Portal, as well as even the system requirements and persistent servers as well, which is great to see. So we're going to start off with a breakdown of everything in the trailer, and then we'll get to all of the news and stuff after that as well. Now, getting stuck into it, the first thing I want to mention is that I'm not a vehicle expert, and so there's probably going to be some vehicles in this trailer that are new that I don't necessarily know are new, because they all just kind of look the same to me. I know a few tanks and stuff by name, but most of the time to me a tank is a tank. So if you see any new vehicles, whether that's choppers, tanks, whatever, that weren't in the beta, be sure to leave a timestamp below and let us know. The same sort of thing goes for the weapons as well. Even though I have a decent idea of weapons in video games, I'm by no means a weapons expert. So if there's anything that you think I miss, leave a timestamp, let us know. But let's get stuck right into it. Now, the first thing that I noticed here in this trailer is that we start off on Merak Valley, and straight away you can actually see the decoy sniper that we have seen in one of the previous trailers. I didn't do a breakdown for that because that was when I was in LA, so I didn't get to do the breakdown, but we have seen this before, but we do get to see it again. We can also see snipers up on the crane, so there is confirmation right off the bat that you can get to the top of the crane, which we obviously would expect. And we then get a nice little overview of the map from the sort of perspective here of the chopper. And the next thing that I have noticed in this scene is that it looks like there could potentially be Levolution. Now, I don't know if it's going to be actual Levolution. As you'll see here, when chopper finally sort of crashes to the ground, this shot right here, you can see that crane in the background falling over. Now, that could be Levolution. That could be simply just normal destruction, and you can just blow the crane up. Levolution sort of refers to it being more on rails, and it's like an event, whereas that could just be regular destruction. Now, the next scene here shows what is called New Sobek City. So this is another map that is set in Egypt. You can see the pyramids in the background there. So we've already seen this in trailers, but this is a nice extra shot of it. Now, this does look a little bit to me like a new faction, these characters that you can see here, because they look, or at least the skins anyway, they look a little bit different than anything we'd seen. I don't recall those really dark helmets being in the beta, especially with like yellow colors on it, but correct me if I'm wrong there. Now, the first thing that I note in this is there's so many vehicles in this shot. We can see multiple Jeeps over on the right. You can see multiple tanks over on the left, as well as a tank in the distance, as well as the chopper too. So there is a lot of vehicles on this map by the looks of it, and we know that this is going to be one of the bigger maps in the game, so that is obviously to be expected. Now, in the next shot on this map as well, this also looks like maybe potentially a new faction, or at the very least just new skins. Now, obviously we know that there's not going to be a bunch of factions. We know that it's like NATO versus Pax Armada, but there has essentially been leaks that within the factions, each map will kind of have its own factions, or mostly just like countries that are fighting each other. So these will still be NATO versus Pax Armada, but we do have some sort of leaks out there that there will be sort of other factions. So that's what I mean by other factions there. It could be those factions, or these could just be skins, but these are definitely skins we haven't seen so far. Something else I noticed as well is that character there on the left, you can see has a sledgehammer, which we'll get to soon. We already knew that was in the game, but there is a cool moment in this trailer with the sledgehammer. And then this character on the right, I don't know what gadget that is on their shoulder. It could just be the mine, like the sensor mine that we saw in the beta. I'm not entirely sure, but it just looks a little bit different. So I thought I would note that, but I obviously don't know what it is, so that doesn't really help. It is just something that I noticed. Now, the next scene here as well, it also shows some woodland camo on the weapon that we can see here, as well as on the tank. I don't know if this is a new LMG or it's just that one that was in the beta, but it is cool to see some camos there, and we can sort of see it up close. I don't know if that's a different camo actually on that tank, even though I'm pretty sure it's meant to be the same tank. But in the first shot, it looks a little bit greener, and then in the second shot, or maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's just the lighting, but anyway, it looks slightly different, though I'm pretty sure this is meant to be the same tank, so not entirely sure there, but it is cool to see some more camos and stuff in the game. Now we see here 4K graphics and uncapped frame rates, which we kind of already knew was in the game, but we do get our first look here, or it's not really the first look, but the first look in this trailer at Operation Firestorm. Now in this shot, you can see 4 different jets, and so we know that there are going to be 4 jets available at any given moment on Operation Firestorm, which I'm pretty sure that's how it was in Battlefield 3, so that's not necessarily news, but it's good to see some confirmation of that. We see a pretty damn big explosion from the sort of oil tank, I guess that is. And yeah, it's great to see some more Operation Firestorm. This is one of my favorite maps of all time, so it is great that it's back. We're then back on Miraak Valley in the next few little sequences here. I didn't really find anything of note in this little sequence other than I think this right here is actually a new vehicle, or at least potentially just a skin or a camo, but it looks like it is a new vehicle. Like I said, I'm not a vehicle expert, so let me know if that was in the beta, but I don't believe that it was. Most likely going to be wrong on that. Now, the next sequence is our first ever look, I think, at Saints Quarter, which is another new map. This seems like it's going to be pretty similar sort of vibe to Iranian Offensive, where it's very like close quarters and it's essentially just in a small city. Something immediately of note is that the throwing knives are back, which is great to see. They're a lot of fun. I think everyone loves using throwing knives from time to time. And then we do get a really cool look here at the sledgehammer, like I mentioned earlier, which obviously comes up with the javelin anti-cheat sort of moment as well. And I thought this was really cool because it kind of gave off the vibe of them like beating the shit out of cheaters. The reason that they put the javelin anti-cheat part when there's a guy smashing someone's skull with a sledgehammer, that to me doesn't feel like coincidence. It feels like they're kind of saying we're going to do our best to combat cheaters, which is cool. Now in the next shot we get more confirmation. I think again we already kind of knew this from leaks, but the mortars are back. Now I think a lot of people are going to be a bit mixed on this. I personally don't hate mortars as much as I think a lot of other people do. I think they're a cool mechanic, and don't get me wrong, they can be really annoying, but to me they do add to the battlefield sort of experience and just the chaos where you can just be running through a city and there's just like shells coming down and blowing shit up out of nowhere, and it doesn't seem like there should be enemies in that area, so you're wondering if it's a grenade or not, but it's a mortar. I just think it adds to the chaos, so I don't hate mortars. Sometimes they're very annoying, but it's cool to see them back, and it's a cool shot here as well of Operation Firestorm, of them up on the hill, which I'm pretty sure you can't get to that area of the map, but I could be wrong. It's obviously been like 10 years plus since I've played Battlefield 3, but also it's a cool shot here of the ultra wide monitor support where the screen expands. So cool little touch there in the trailer. We then get another shot here of New Sobek City, and this looks like a new weapon. I'm not entirely sure, and it also looks like that's a new vehicle in the background, but again, correct me on both of those if I'm wrong. Generally every trailer breakdown I ever do, I'm wrong about at least one weapon or vehicle, so no doubt that's going to happen in this one. We then get 600 plus customization options on PC, and I've sort of scoured through the actual little menu that they've got here. It doesn't look like any of this is completely new from the beta. This is all stuff that I think was already in there, but it's cool to see more confirmation of how deep they're going with the settings. The next scene also shows what looks like potentially some more new skins. I don't think these were in the beta. They look a little bit similar to the skins that you would wear or that you would see on Capstone, because they sort of blend in, but kind of looks like new skins there. And then we do see a new rocket launcher here as well. And I've done some digging, and this looks like it is the M136 AT4, which was in Bad Company 2. And I have a feeling it was potentially in another Battlefield, but I know for a fact it was in Bad Company 2. And this is the guided missile. So this is, it doesn't like attach to the tracer darts, for example. It's one of the ones like, for example, Liz's rocket launcher in 2042, where when you move the crosshair, it will essentially just follow that. They had those in Battlefield 4 as well, and so unless I'm wrong on that, it does seem like that is confirmation of the AT4 coming back. Now the next sequence here shows the global scale campaign little snippet, and I believe this is our first like gameplay snippet from the campaign. It's not really gameplay. I think that first sort of moment is, but this looks pretty cool, and it also kind of looks like it shows off some of the battle royale mechanics. No doubt the jumping out of the plane and stuff is going to be in the BR. The next sequence here too, where it gets back to the multiplayer content. At first I just thought this was Empire State, but this is not Empire State. This is actually the Manhattan Bridge map that we haven't seen anything of just yet, I don't think, because it still looks like Brooklyn, but I do not recall any of this being in, you know, in Empire State that we played in the beta. So it looks a little bit different, and this sign that you can see here, it says Dumbo. Now Dumbo is a sort of neighborhood within Brooklyn, and so it does still sort of confirm that this is in Brooklyn, but again, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe we've seen this part of the map in Empire State, so it leads me to believe this is the other sort of Brooklyn map called, I believe, Manhattan Bridge. We then go back to Miraak Valley and we see a little EOD bot here on the right, and then what looks to be another new weapon as well. It's sort of a familiar looking weapon, so again, leave a comment down below if you know what that is. And then they get into the portal stuff, and the first thing that I noticed is that the program that they're using here, this is an actual program, this is not on the website or anything. So it seems as though we will be getting a fully dedicated program to actually create these like maps and the changes and stuff, which is pretty awesome. Now, I've done some sort of stuff like this at uni. I did a little bit of game design in my uni course, and it looks like the program they're using here looks very reminiscent to some of the different programs that I used. So it's going pretty in depth here. It's kind of crazy what they're actually doing with Portal, where yeah, they've kind of evolved it from just being, even the web browser version was really cool in 2042, but this is obviously a whole other level. It's going to be crazy to see what some people come up with, because even the stuff they've shown looks insane, but the community always takes that stuff to the next level. So it's going to be very fun to see what people come up with. And they obviously just go through some of those Portal modes. One thing I noted here is that the rocket launcher that they're firing is just firing like on repeat. You don't have to reload it. So you can even change stuff like that in game too, where it's not modifying the map, but you can obviously just have pretty much automatic RPGs and stuff like that, which is cool. We then see another look here at what looks to be, again, Levolution or just regular destruction. It's going to be hard to tell until the game actually launches. I don't think it'll be actual Levolution, just because they haven't said anything about that. It feels like they would have told us. This looks like it will just be kind of a destruction based thing more than an actual event. We then see a headshot which blows the helmet off the character, which is cool. That was in Battlefield 1 and 5, I believe. I don't think it was in 2042. So it's great to see that back again. I don't think that was in the beta. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't a thing. I don't remember seeing it anyway. We then get a look at the like ladder sort of gadget for, I believe it's the assault class, which is cool. We've seen that in other trailers as well, but cool to see that again. We then get to see what looks to be, it's hard to tell from this shot, but it looks like it's a Black Hawk that we're in with a minigun, similar to how we had in a lot of the previous Battlefield games, and namely Battlefield 4, which is something I loved doing, is getting in the gunner seat and just mowing down people. And then this shot shows what looks to be another new weapon. Again, I don't know what the hell it is, but I don't remember seeing that in the beta either. So that is pretty much everything that I found throughout the trailer. This is obviously just a PC like specs trailer and slightly touching on Portal, so there was never going to be any like crazy big stuff in here, but it was cool to see some other maps that we haven't really seen just yet. So hopefully there was some stuff in there that you guys actually missed on your first watch through. Now, just quickly, we're going to run through the blog post that they did as well. There's not anything crazy in here other than a few little things I wanted to mention. Now, first and foremost, I'll just make this bigger for you guys to see. We do have the system requirements here, which is good to see. To me, it all looks pretty much as expected. And I've got to say, like, it looks, my PC is good, but I don't have a 50 series graphics card or anything. So I'm sort of sitting in here and I can still seemingly run the game at ultra 1440 at 144 frames a second. So I'm pretty stoked with that. And I think anyone who has an even beefier PC, you're going to be getting like 250 frames on ultra settings, which is awesome. Provided, obviously, it actually works like this, because this doesn't always confirm that, but hopefully it's not like 2042's launch, which was obviously very, very broken. Now, they sort of just mentioned a bunch of stuff that was in the trailer, so I won't go through all of that stuff. This I wanted to show off. This picture here is so sick, because this looks like pretty much tower defense in Portal, which is going to be a lot of fun, where one team here has got like miniguns and freaking RPGs and stuff, and this opposing team seemingly only has sledgehammers. And it also looks like these are little like barricades that they have to break through as well. So this genuinely just looks like tower defense. It looks like some sort of base defending mode, which is going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do some stuff like that. I want to get back into streaming, so hopefully I can do some of this stuff with you guys in a community server. That should be a whole lot of fun. And then lastly, the thing, well, there's actually two things here. They mention here, included with game purchase, players will also have the ability to make their hosted servers persistent, so it's always listed in the server browser for easy access. That was one of the biggest downfalls of 2042, that they didn't have that. They eventually added it to where it stayed up for about a week, I think, but it is great to see that essentially if you just buy the game, you can do this, which is awesome. And so there will be essentially community servers that can be persistent like the old days in Battlefield 4 and stuff, which is great to see. And then we also do get a bit of a look here at the server browser, which again, I think we need to wait and see how this plays in game, because it is still in Portal. I don't know if it'll be the same sort of issues that we ran into with 2042, where that did have a server browser, but it's just not quite the same. Hopefully this is more integrated into the main game. I would love them to actually include regular servers in here as well, like official DICE servers, so that it's just how it was in Battlefield 4. I think if they can get it back to that, I just feel like that was perfect. Having all of this stuff, and then also at the top having like your official DICE Conquest 24/7 servers and stuff with the proper rotation, so that we don't have to hope we get a good map or a good attacking or defending on rush or breakthrough. Hopefully they get that done, but whether they do or not, I'm not too sure. But I think at the very least, the persistent servers and also this hopefully should fix the issues we had with 2042, but again, we'll have to wait and see until the actual game launches. But that is pretty much it for all of the news from this PC trailer as well as the blog post. Like I said, be sure to leave comments with any corrections and stuff from the trailer breakdown. I'm certain I A, missed things, and B, got a few things wrong, so be sure to leave a comment down below. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.